Hello everyone, welcome back to another session. So today we'll create let's see what we'll create from to-do list. So let's create a podcast screen, episode screen, and then player screen, as well as category screen. We're gonna create all these screens. Once we're done with these screens, we'll implement the rest of the functionality of loading things from the backend. So we'll try to complete the remaining UI. Well, that's done. Then we'll try to get some functionality done in the next session today, so that when we have 2 days left, right? That's the 5th day. We still have a 6th and 7th day. It's a 2 day left. We'll be able to test it out very well. We'll try to fix as much as bugs possible, and then hopefully we'll get this app ready in 7 days. If you count, then it's not a 7 days actually. It's just a few hours, maybe 24 hours or more. But yeah, if you count in that way, then it's even less time. Okay, we have the app running. Now there's one more request I got, was that why not we keep a skip button if they don't want to sign in. I just want to explore the app without signing in and without those features that you have when you sign in. So let's try to implement that you can actually skip the sign in and can enjoy the app without signing in. Now there is one issue with that you cannot have like you cannot like, or like, you know, cannot save any podcast episode, or you cannot have continual listening or sync across the device because you're not gonna have an account. So you'll just be able to listen to some podcasts for free. Of course the app is free, but without creating account, without giving your own data like email or name and your profile picture. That's all we collect and create an account. So whatever you do in the app is synced to that account, and whenever you log in the same account in other devices, we have the data synced across all devices. But if you don't create an account, you just skip it, then you're not gonna have that convenience, that functionality, that feature, because that's what it is required to store your data in a proper way, in a proper secure place. But for now, let's just focus on the rest of the UI, and then we'll come back to create that skip button, so you guys can also test it without giving your personal information to me or my client. While we build this, once it's in App Store and Play Store, we'll have a privacy policy and all the things set up and approved from the Google and Apple, so it will be safe for you guys to sign up or sign in once we have that things ready, you know. Okay, so let's start from podcast screen. What do you think about it? Podcast screen, yeah, let's do that. Then episode screen, and then we'll do category screen, and then recommended. We'll do the player at the last because that will take a lot of time, and I want to start with something fast, thing that can be done really quickly, for me at least. Not for everyone, but for me, I can do it quickly. So I'm gonna do these things as soon as possible, and then we'll jump over to the player screen. Okay, let's do this. And thank you so much for the support that I've seen so far in these last sessions. Okay, so let's do it. Let me know if you can hear me. Also, let me open Okay. Let's have the category screen and the recommendation screen first, even before the podcast screen, because these are even more easier to get it done, because we write modular code, so we can reuse a lot of code in these other screens. Okay, so we're also gonna rewrite not rewrite, we're also gonna create a reusable code, so we can reuse it for top categories, individual categories, as well as view all. Good afternoon. Hello. Okay, so let's open category screen. Now, when should we open this screen? Well, we can have a variable with or we can have an enum. For now, let me just create an enum here. Category. And let's have a constant top, and then we'll have each and every category as an enum. Well, categories are also coming from the backend, so we'll need to create an enum somehow for each of them, or we can just use a string instead of enum. That's what we're storing in the backend as well. String category. Now, wherever we have used that widget, we just need to pass category. Okay, so this is a category screen. Now I'm gonna create let's just use screen wrapper widget that we created. Okay. So if you go to business doc, we have this. If you go to stories, we have stories. basically we have all the categories here. Perfect. Now let's add a back button here for the user to go back, you know. Now we cannot use a section header here. Instead, I'm going to create app bar. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll create our own custom app bar. This is what the default app bar looks like for material library. We're not gonna use this. We'll have our own custom app bar based on our own app theme. So let's create that and set it up here instead of this default app bar. Now we're gonna take a look at how it looks like. See, we have implementation of preferred sized widget with a stateful widget, and there's the name of your app bar. So we'll go and do the same. We'll create a stateful widget, and we'll also implement preferred sized widget. We'll create a missing override, and there we have it. Now we'll design our app bar here in the container. Now we haven't implemented the preferred size yet, so it's going to throw unimplemented errors. So instead of throwing error, let's just implement that, you know. So let's go and find that method here as well, preferred size. Or we can just customize the existing material app bar instead of recreating everything, you know. Let's do that instead. Let's have app bar. Let's have a title. Title will have text. Now here we'll just say string title final list widget actions. Now let's have stateful widget, so let's convert it back to stateless. Let's just use the customer bar here. Okay, let's import required stuff first. And no, why does it use this error? Okay, we have that set up ready and done. Now let me use that instead. Also customize the back button. Use feather icons. Hello Ivan CS from Germany. What's up? How are you? Now we have our own custom app bar. Let's just change a few things about the text in the app bar. Let's copy a few styles from here. You don't need that bold here, or should we? Should I keep it bold like that? Which language is this? This is a Dart programming language, and I'm using Flutter framework. How do you develop when VS Code is switched off as planned? I am developing this app in live stream only. I haven't even added the data yet. I was talking about adding data to the backend yesterday in the last stream, but I haven't done that too. I'm only working live directly, nothing behind the scenes, everything live in front of you. When I'm off the live stream, I just completely close the project. I work on other projects that I have, or I do some research maybe sometimes that what I need to do. I'm running whole business, so I am also focusing on marketing and all that other stuff. You know, I am running a software company here in India. I don't know if I've answered your question correctly, but I think that's what you mean. If that's not what you meant, then you can ask again in other words. I'm fine too. Thank you. Yep, that's correct. Just read the file extension .dart. You have it. You can also see the folder structure. Let's have it as 700 weight. Okay, that looks good. I need to increase the, I don't know, can I increase the weight? Yeah, I can. Okay, let's try. Okay, VS Code should no longer be supported. Why? I don't know. Is that official announcement that VS Code is not gonna work on macOS? I know a lot of people use Android Studio. I also have the Android Studio on my system because you know, we need Android build tools to generate the Android APK and all the other Android related builds, but I didn't knew that here is my Android Studio. But I never use Android Studio. It's so much rich with the tools and features, so it's so much, you know, heavy, memory intensive. So I don't like to use that much memory intensive IDE. I'm fine with a little bit less features with the VS Code because, yeah, I mean, the pro users or the beginners would like those IDEs and those features, but once you know how the language and framework works, I don't really think you need that kind of features anymore. Like, I know it helps in boosting productivity, but the VS Code extensions are enough. Like, I have a Dart extension here and a Flutter extension, so these two extensions and some Flutter snippet extensions that are enough for me for auto suggestion and code completion. And for the linting purposes, we have a Flutter lints package, so it helps. That's all I need. Android Studio is very rich tool. and it's really good. I used to be a native Android developer, and I used to use that tool in past, but now I don't really do the native. I just do the hybrid with the Flutter, but sometimes I do, so at that time I just use Android Studio. Okay, see you. Don't think the weight is affecting the icon anyways. Let's go and look at the documentation about it. Okay, so we can try grade. Let's say 1 or maybe 5. Let's restart the app. Okay, we don't see any kind of effect. Any changes? No. Okay, let's keep this, So when you come in, we'll have a grid of all the podcasts that we have. Just like we have here in featured, or here in the training podcasts, or in the recommendation, we'll have something similar. Hello everybody, 5 viewers. Say hi in the chat. How are you doing, guys? Also, I have been working on my own IDE. So if VS Code is actually gonna go off, then I'm gonna use just that. I'm working on a Flutter tool which will help to build Flutter apps quickly. It's not feature heavy, and yeah, I mean, that's good. At least good for my own use case. I'll make it available publicly. Okay, that was a lot of noise. Gone. Okay, so yeah, you can find that landing page that I made. It's not completed yet. Let me paste the link for that if you're still here. You you can check that out. It's gonna have a free version as well, so yeah, I mean, you can create Flutter apps quickly, and as well as you can write your own code in there. It's not just a drag and drop UI builder or anything. I'll have a live stream once my own IDE is ready for showcase, you know. It's gonna work on macOS, Windows, and hopefully on Linux as well. I also use Linux, Ubuntu, I don't know what version it is, but I think it's LTS, apart from macOS. It's also good for developing mobile apps. Just for the sake of iOS and macOS apps, I need to use macOS. But yeah, it's good. Better than Windows for my use cases. Not for everyone, but just for my use cases, you know. Okay, now we don't need action, so let's make it nullable and not required, so I don't have to pass an empty array of actions. We have studies, we have business talks, we have a comedy. Create a view all top categories screen. Let's go and do that. Top category screen, dart. Let's make this stateful widget. Yeah, we'll make it stateless in the future if it's not required. Let's have a scaffold, and let's add a body as well as our own custom app bar that we just made. Custom app bar with a title, top categories. Now let's have a screen wrapper widget that we also created in past videos, and that's all we need to do for now, at least. We'll come back here later. Now let's go and find the top category section, and let's navigate to top category section. So if somebody clicks here, view all, redirects to the top category section, but something is wrong. Okay, let's see what's wrong. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I am redirecting the user back to the same widget. I need the user to go to the top category screen instead of section. So let's do that. I click view all, we have top categories. We click on specific categories, we have specific category screen as well. Now in the top category screen, what should we load? A grid view with all the category names. So we need to work on this screen and individual category screen. These are the two screens for which we need to work on. Same applies for this. And then when user clicks on any of the featured podcast or any of the trending podcast or any of the recommended podcast, it should be redirected to one and only one podcast screen. So that's the screen that we're going to create. And the trending episode screen, sorry, not the trending episode screen, but more like we also need a view all for these, I believe. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's do that. Let's add a view all for trending podcast, 10 trending episodes, and featured. I don't really think we need a view all for featured. We'll just list all of them here because they're not gonna be much in the future. 5 or 10, and this is more than enough. Let's just have autoplay here so it automatically changes, which maybe grab the user's attention if something interesting is there in the featured podcast, you know. So let's go to the section home, featured podcast, and here we have autoplay to true. So now it's playing automatically. Now we also need to set the duration, autoplay animation duration, and also animation curve. So if you are familiar with the animations, let's try different ones. Okay, this does not look good. Let's say bounce in, deaccelerate, let's have linear, okay, I know what should we use. Let's use this animation. Yep, that's perfect. Now let's add some duration. Pause autoplay on touch. So if user like touch the screen like this and wants to read it, then user can hold it and it will be there. Autoplay will not work. Should not work, but it's still working, I think. Autoplay on manual navigation to okay. Let's try this. So suppose if I manually navigate anywhere, so the auto navigation is now off. See, I'm navigating back, but it should animate in that direction, but it's not. So if I stop navigating, it will start animating again, which is cool. Pause autoplay on touch. So if I touch, it's paused. Yeah, it's paused. So if you touch there, it's paused. And we can also increase the duration if we want, like if we want to. Let's have millisecond, 300 milliseconds for animation to play. That's too much. So let's have animation in seconds, like 1 second to just animate like from one slide to another slide. One, like that's smooth. And how much gap should be there between both slides, like intervals, you know, how much interval should be there, like 2 seconds or 3 seconds. We can have a 3 seconds interval between each slide. Let's restart. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. It should play. Yes, perfect. So we have a 3 seconds interval, and the animation itself takes 1 second, so we'll just have almost 2 seconds of gap between them, like half second to animate the previous slide and half second for the next slide. So like I don't know if I'm confusing you, but suppose this is the slide, so this slide will take a 500 seconds to go animate there, and this slide takes 500 milliseconds to come in the viewport. So it's a total 1 second from the one slide to next slide, and 3 second is the interval. I think it's enough. If you want, you can just navigate manually. We are building podcast app, so we'll have all the podcast here. You can download them, see personalized recommendation. We have all the categories. This is just a static data, by the way. It's not loading from database yet. We just completed the user interface, and now we'll load everything from the backend and the actual data. You'll be able to play podcasts. We'll have a lot of features, one after another. Let's see what we get at the end. It will be on App Store and Play Store at the end, so we'll have that live stream for that too. Like, the app is now available, you can download it, you know, and we'll test it together on the live stream. I'll install it on my iPhone and Android device, the real ones, not the simulator that we have right here. If you want to follow along, you can just, you know, check out the playlist that I made for each stream. I'll keep adding each sessions there, and we'll have the final session as well there. You can come and join me on the final day if you want to see the final product, you know. Also, I just noticed we are 1 subscriber away from 500. That's also a really good milestone. If you haven't subscribed yet, go and subscribe and follow along every stream, you know, get notified when I am streaming. I know a lot of people don't have time, live in a different time zones. They can always watch the recordings if they're interested. Okay, so let's now work on this podcast screen first. Okay, uh, let's use gesture detector. Okay, now if I click on any of the recommended podcasts, it should redirect me to the screen, podcast screen, of course. Let's also do the same thing for the trending and featured. So where are they? Here we have featured podcast, and here we have trending one. So let's close the other files that we are not using. Okay, now let's go and add a gesture detector and all kind of different cards we have, different UI, final, tab. Okay, so if we click any of the trending podcasts, then we should be redirected. Okay, now let's use Inkwell instead of gesture detector for the ripple effect. And let's see if we get any ripple effect. We do get the ripple effect, but it's not visible. Let's have material, let's set color to the white, and let's make the container transparent. Let's have this. So now we have the ripple effect appear. So if you click here, it's gonna open up that. Let's do the same for the recommended. Okay, we have the ripple effect now, but we need to fix it. so let's fix it. Okay, let's see. Oops. Let's restart the app one more time. Let's go to the Explorer, and if we do this, then now we have this effect. Of course, if you just click, you're not even gonna see that effect anyways, but it's just there so you feel that, you know, visual response that you are tapping on that. It's kind of visual cue for the user that you can tap on that thing. Yeah. Same for the categories, we've already done that. Well, let's do that for the featured podcast, and then we'll come back to the episodes. Let's go to the featured podcast screen. Let's go to featured card. Why do we have a builder? Okay, I know why. Because it's in the carousel, so we need a builder. Builder. Let's have the material. Material. Okay. Let's have a transparency. Let's have it there. I know I can see that bull hue border. We'll have something for that as well. So I believe it's because of the margin we have horizontally. Let's remove it then. Okay, I don't really think the ripple effect is actually there because we have image on the top, so I don't believe we can see that effect. Now what we can do instead is just wrap the material widget there and just move these things, remove the widget, cut these things, again remove the widget, let's try this, let's restart the app. No, we don't have any ripple effect because of the image, but still we're gonna set the on-tap method and redirect the user to the podcast screen. Okay, I think that's it. All we need to do now is just create episode screen. I know I'm not creating any screen actually, I'm just creating a blank screen for each. Then we'll have we'll work on those one after another. We're just trying to have all the blank screens ready first. So screen, you don't have to have M-bar, just let's have a scaffold and that's all we need for now. Okay, let's link the episode screen in the trending episode section. Episode item, we can wrap this around a inkwell. We can wrap an inkwell around material. Let's have a color to the white. I don't really think we need to do this in this case because we don't have any kind of container. Let's just declare the on tap. Episode screen, and we have the episode screen, so let's redirect the user there. But before we do that, we have an error on other files. Let's see what kind of error it is. Okay, let's add on tap method. Let's restart. Okay, that's good. Now we can actually navigate there to its own screen. But I think we need episode screen, like. Let's write down a few things and then we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna have hello. Yes, how are you? I see why. What's your name? So let's just open any of the podcast, and I have some reference design that I got from my client. Let's see what kind of thing he wants. That's how we're gonna design that screen as well. Let me show you really quickly. That is what it is. So these are gonna be this is going to be the podcast name, podcast author's name, and what category it is, the cover art of the podcast, and you can like or save. Yeah, I mean, you can favorite those and it will be stored in your account, but for this feature you will need to sign up. And also you can download it for offline listening, but I think I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can download it without creating an account as well. You can also listen. When you tap on the listen, it will just play the first episode of that podcast, and we'll have the list of all the episodes with the duration. We can have a little bit better design for the episode list than this, because it will help the user to understand what is it about, you know. And here we have the player, very minimal and simple player. You can just tap on it and it will create it will open up a new screen which will have all the controls you need. But once it's minimized, it's just not gonna have much of here to view, except the episode title, author name, and yeah, cover art and play pause button. So let's do this. Let's have the app bar. Do we even need app bar? Because I don't really think, I mean, this whole space is not being utilized. It looks good in design in this kind of images. Like we have this bubble which is trying to make you feel that the space is being used, but once you remove this, you'll just see that this area is just not in use. In devices with a small screen size, we'll just feel that why this is empty and why do I need to scroll down to just view a lot of other things. What do you think about it? Let's try to minimize the size of the app bar as much as possible. Let's try to use the space somehow. Yo, hello, okay. Okay, so let me just make it full screen, and we'll just switch between it while we work on podcast screen. Let's just give the name like a podcast for now. We can change it, of course. Let's calculate it visually. Like almost half of the screen is occupied by the cover art and the half is given to the rest of the information. So we can just say 40% of the width of the screen, or maybe 35%. So let me just have image widget that we created. Let's pass the podcast model. With the constant, it's a stateful widget, so we need to do widget.podcastModel.cover image URL, and now we need to set the size. As I just said, size will be, let's say, screen width equals to media query dot size of contacts dot width. So we'll get the width of the specific screen or specific device wherever this app or the screen is opened up, and we'll just use that as a width and height. So we'll have a square. Now let's fix the errors and the code to see what were the changes we just made. podcast model should have a podcast model right there, and similarly we should pass this podcast and here as well. Okay, now let's restart the app and navigate to, for instance, let's navigate to this one. Okay, we don't want the screen width to be the width of the image. We'll only get 0.4, which is 40%. That looks good to me. Now we can add, okay, let's just remove this. Instead, let's just use screen wrapper widget that we created, and this should do the job. Yeah. And now let's add a border radius to our image widget. Border radius, circular, and I believe 16R will match. Now it's even more. And we can also increase it if we want. Let's try 24. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, that's okay. Now let's add other information. So we need to wrap this up. We're gonna just wrap it up in row, and also let's just remove it from here. Let's go to the sections. Let's create a folder for it. Let's just say podcast, and let's just say podcast info section. Let's create another widget. Let's just say podcast info section. Yeah, we have podcast info section. Let's just import everything, and let's have a podcast model. We don't need widget here, and let's calculate this screen width here. Let's have a podcast info section right here. Perfect. And let's see. We only need to work on this specific section in its own specific file. So this is gonna be that section. Or we can just have this and this as another section if you want to keep it even more clean. So it's easy to make changes, you know, just need to find the specific file, the specific section, and a specific folder. If you want to customize anything in future, if any other developers working on this project from the team, then he knows where to find it. And then we'll have all the episode list section. We're gonna have a 3 section, or we can just have a 2 sections. Let's just have a 2 sections. We'll keep rest of things here as well. So what else we have it? We have a podcast name, author name, and category. That's it. Let's do it. Thank you. let's have the text style for it. Font size. Weight. I think that's it. Now let's remove the constant and import the wired stuff. Okay, nice. Which website have you visited? The one that I shared in the chat right now, or from the description? And what do you do actually? I'm talking to you, Ronak, if that's your real name. Yeah, Twitter logo is not updated. I like Twitter logo than X logo. Twitter was better place than X. X sounds weird, but yeah, I will change that. I haven't updated the websites in so long. Any of the websites. Yeah, I know, X. Thank you for pointing it out for me. I'll just go and fix it. Merge stack developer, that's cool. So you can share your projects. What do you do? Freelancing or have a job? Are you also like making a YouTube video? Okay, that's your real name. Cool, nice name. Okay, you just started. That's also cool. So, since how long you've been doing this? Months. Nice. You can show me your work. I would like to see it. You know, the websites that you've built. You can just tweet about it on the Twitter. Just tag me there. Maybe I'll retweet it for you if you're looking for projects or attention from the recruiters. You know, maybe on LinkedIn as well. You can just do that. Okay, I see. We did had the opening for React.js developer recently, but I just thought that let's just wait for some time. Then we'll start the recruiting again for more developers on our team. You can show me your projects if I think that you know you can do a really great work, then we can work together. Yeah, they're not there actually. There are no openings yet. No openings. There was before, but we don't have any right now. Okay, it's not working. What do we do now? Well, let's just try expanded widget. It's working. Nice. Here's my Twitter handle if you're looking for it. Just tweet about it, whatever the work you're doing, you know, maybe you're learning from course or YouTube videos, YouTube tutorials, the thing that you make. Just tweet about it and tag me there. I'll just like to see it, or like try to retweet it for you. You can get attention from other developers and other companies as well as I can see it if we can work together or not, you know. Where are you from, by the way? We'll see. LinkedIn, yes. Wait, let me share it. And that's my LinkedIn. Okay, you are currently in Mohali, Chandigarh, I believe. It's around there, right? Okay, I'll check that after the stream ends, you know, in the between break time. Color, let's have a blue color because that's what we have used so far. Oh, that's background color. We don't need background color. Let's have it transparent. Let's have a border dot all sides. Let's remove the constant. Let's have a color blue, and there we have it. Now, to make it look like this, we'll need to add some padding. We'll need to change the font size, as well as we'll need to add a border radius. Let's add border radius first. Border radius dot all 360 sp. Sorry, not sp. We're just gonna use r for the radius, I think. Okay, instead of all, I'm just gonna use circular. Sure, perfect. I'll take a look at the GitHub account. That's really nice. A lot of people don't even maintain a GitHub account. I've seen when I recruit, they don't have anything in their GitHub profile. If you have things on your GitHub, it's really easy and really good for the recruiter to see your work, you know. Also, don't put the templates from the internet on your GitHub account because that's easy to catch it. I've seen people do that too. I just don't tell them that, yeah, that's a template. I just say, okay, show me your work, because I know that's the template. Okay, I'm getting a call from someone. Give me a moment. Let me pick up his call because Okay, I'm back. Music is not playing or what? Okay. Perfect. So let's continue from where we left off. 1.5. Let's set the text style. Let's decrease the font size to 10 sp. Yeah, I mean that's good enough. And let's have the same color of the text. Let's increase the weight of the font. Let's add some padding. Let's have a symmetric. So vertical padding up to 4 sp, and let's see how it goes. Okay, that's too much. 2 sp. Horizontally, let's add 6 sp of space. Okay, I think we need to increase. So alignment, center. I knew it. And let's wrap that in the align widget, and let's align that to the center left or start or just left. Tips for interviews. I'm not a good person for that to give you any kind of advice, because okay, let's take a look at the screenshot that I had. And the difference is, okay, so we have a lot of padding on left and right, which is horizontal padding, and we have everything in capital letters, all caps. So let's do that. I haven't used these in a while, so let's take a look at documentation. Well, that looks good. I have a dent in the monitor. One, yeah, I think so. Okay, anyways. Well, let's work on this now, shall we? Now, should we allow user to download the whole podcast altogether? Like, really? That's gonna be a huge task for the app. Like, even if user close the app, we need to continue the download. So we need to create an isolate that can run in background. Multi-thread programming that runs in the background. So even if user close the app, the download should continue, as well as it should show the download progress in the notification, ongoing notification, that it's downloading yet. You know, that would be more convenient for the user. What do you think about it? Okay, let's do that. Listen, download, and like button. Let's create a separate widget for that. controllers, what should I call it? Podcast buttons section. Let's call that for now. Share button, yeah, let's see if we can share that, because yeah, right, instead of downloading whole thing, because you know, every podcast is gonna have I don't know, a lot of episodes. Now that will just destroy the user's device in terms of processor as well as storage, because podcasts are not short most of the time. There are short clips like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but most of them are like 1 hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's gonna consume a lot of storage on device, and it will be a lot of internet data or Wi-Fi data to download all of them offline. Yes, so we should not show the download option here, just for you know, individual episode player screen. That's correct. Like and share and listen, yeah, that's it. Let's do that. Start. Let's have a cross-axis alignment to start, and yes, podcasts are long. Let's create a button. We are not using shadows anywhere. Plus, I used the shadow in the auth screen yesterday, so I need to recreate that button as well, which can match the whole theme of the app. So we'll do that. Let's see if I created a button earlier in any other sessions, because now I don't think so. Yeah, so let's create that. Custom button dart. Custom button. Let's just add a container. That section inside the podcast screen. Podcast button section. Let's close this. Let's have a custom button here. And now let's work on the custom button. Yeah. Let's have the text inside a container, and we're gonna get that text from here. Let's have on-click listener. Set it up with function. let's remove the constant from here. Let's add a label. Let's add on tab function, and let's have a button with the text. Let me open the design again. We also have an icon, so we'll have the text as well as the icon. An icon should be an optional thing. If you don't want icon, that is perfectly fine. Icon data, optional icon. Let's add that parameter there as well. Let's have a row widget inside the container. Let's have a main axis alignment center, cross axis alignment center. Let's have icon. Yeah, that's it. Now we'll do the rest later. Let me assign the icon. Feather icons. Airplay. I don't know, how does it look like? Yeah. Anyways, we need play circle, and icon should be white colored as well as the label. Let's restart the app and see if there are any errors in the code. Let's open the Firebase show. We have the play button and it's the text. Now all we need to do is to just customize the text size. Let's wait, and I think that's it. Let's change the icon size to 16 sp, which matches the font size. Let's have some space between the text and icon, maybe I guess 5 sp. And now let's add padding, symmetrically, vertically. Let's add a, I don't know, yeah, 8. Horizontally, let's add 14 sp. That looks good to me. Let's have border radius again. Dot circular. Okay, that's too much. Let's decrease it to 7. Let's take a look at the design again. Increase it to maybe 10. Yeah. Let's have a margin symmetric. What margin should be 20 sp in my opinion. Now let's add inkwell on tap. Let's duplicate that. Let's move it up in the material widget. Okay, now let's test the click listener by having a print statement which will print listen So if I tab, it's working, but still we cannot see the ripple effect. So let's see what's wrong. There we go, we have it. We have the ripple effect that we need. Now we can always increase the text size a little bit if we want, like 16. And here we can also do 18. We can increase the vertical, adding to 12. This to 16. Okay, let's keep it 10, and let's make these 24. Okay, perfect. Now we can just wrap it with expanded, so we have fully expanded button, and the rest of the space can be utilized by the other widget that we're going to create, which is going to be custom icon buttons. Custom action, I don't know, custom, what should we call it? Podcast icon. Yeah, let's just call it podcast icon button. Okay. Now let's again wrap this with the expanded. I don't really think we need the expanded here anyway. Let's remove it. Let's go to the widget. Let's close this. Let's have icon data. Have a click listener function on tab, and let's save this. Now let's start with container. Let's have a margin, edge and set, and yeah, let's do this. Let's also provide edge and sets, knowable margin variable. We can just use that, so we can have dynamic margin where average is used, and we'll have child will be material widget, and material widget should contain inkwell on tab, on tab we'll have a child will be again a container will have an icon widget, an icon widget will have an icon data in it. We'll have the color will be blue of the icon. Set the size of the icon, that can be 20 sp. Let's have the decoration. So blue dot shade, we can have a 200. Now let's fix the issues that we have here. Let's add data, let's just say feather icons. Let's have a heart and let's have a share. Now we have two different icons for sharing. You can use this or this. Let's just use this, and I'm gonna make it shade 100, or we can also, I think, have 50 as the shade. Let's see. Let's have a padding from all the sides to all SB, and it is good to go. Now let's add a border radius dot circular and approximately 16 should again work. Yeah, and instead of setting color here, we'll just copy this and we'll have a transparent color here. Now we have the ripple effect. Now let's come back. Let's center align these and space between the main axis. Let's have a margin edge inset only on the left hand side. For the share button should be, let's just try 5 SB, how much it is. On the right, let's also give it 5. Okay, let's increase it to 8. And for the custom button, we can also increase the vertical padding. And we can decrease the font size if you want. Okay, that is done. So here we have the design from where we are taking inspiration. Okay, let's have all the episodes here. Yeah, let's do this. let's take a break. Hello, friend. Join us again on the great motivation purposes. Okay, yeah, I saw you yesterday. I think you are the one who told me I'm bleeding between my eyes, if I remember correctly, right? From the turkey. What do you do, man? Like, tell me about yourself. What do you do? I'd like to know you. Okay. Okay. let's complete rest of the stuff, and we'll finish the live stream after we have the episodes list done. Then we'll come back to work on other screens. Let's create that section, podcast. Episodes. Section. Thank you. Let me see. How many subscribers do we have? We have 502 subscribers right now. That's amazing. Thank you guys. Hello, GE Ronick YT. What's your real name? Cool. Dart language is fun. That's true. Nice. Where are you learning it from? Good. That's nice. So what you've made with the Dart CLI application, command line app? Okay, just have 5 hours of content left to watch out of total 20 hours. Then I'll plan to start with an Instagram clone tutorial. Okay, nice. Then you don't even have to use a VS Code, bro. Just use a Notepad++. Visual Studio Code is still a lightweight tool. Make sure you don't confuse yourself between Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. Yeah, the blue one and the purple one. Just use a Notepad++. I have been using Notepad++ on my 2 GB RAM laptop when I started. That's all I had when I started in 2015, or yeah, I mean, that's when I started learning Java and all that thing. But yeah, I mean, you can do it in Notepad++, which is also a really good tool. If you need a linting or any kind of documentation support, then a VS Code is better, because you can just install Dart extension in a VS Code and you can just take a look at each of the functions. Like, for example, stateless widget, you can just see the documentation right here in the VS Code. You don't have to go to the dart.dev website. Just look at it here itself, you can click it, and you can also see the code of that, which is cool. That's Visual Studio that can be used to develop desktop apps for Windows using .NET, C++, or even using C# or C language. If you're working with the Unity, then also you can use Visual Studio for game development. The Visual Studio Code is a general purpose lightweight IDE. You can use it for anything. I use it for web and app development, as well as any other projects that I have. Just use Visual Studio Code for mostly all of my work. Yeah, I like this tool. Also, someone asked me what do I use the theme. Let me show you quickly that. I don't remember what it was, but if I'm correct, yeah, it was a Monokai Pro. This is the extension from verified publisher monokai.pro. And when I see, okay, this is the theme I have: Monokai Pro, filter spectrum. And I don't use the file icon theme of the Monokai Pro. Instead, I have a material icon theme installed. You can also install this by Philip if you want to have the same theme that I have. As well as some people asking, what is this text? Like, when I type, what is this text? You know? Well, that text, the 14x and the 8x, is because of the extension that I have, which is power mode. It's just for fun. It's useless. Don't install it if you don't have a good PC, because it's just gonna take your resources, you know. Just don't use it. It's just for fun. It's like gaming in your workspace. It will create this confetti effect on your cursor, like see, and you will have this meter. So whenever I code, I have that effect on my cursor. If you have ever noticed that before. Okay, it's time for break, and I'll be back again in 30 minutes. Let's end the stream here because it's already 2 hours and 38 minutes. So let's end the stream here, and we will be back again in 30 minutes again with session 2, and we'll try to get most of the UI done, as well as some functionality that is not done yet. And we'll share the builds with you at the end of the stream of the session 2 of today, so you can also test it on your Android device. Okay, that's it for now. See you soon.